About an incident now where there's already National Guard and Marine troops, on the streets of LA. But prior to them coming there, I do believe that the states were well equipped to handle it. And so, of course, when we see cars burning and people blocking highways, like, this is not an ideal type of protest. We appreciate in America peaceful protests, not this. And I also think it's a losing argument for Democrats to try to jump on board and say, we want to protect this type of protesting in any way, right? That's not what the goal is. That's not what Karen Bass or Newsom have said. They are very clear that any behavior that's against the law should be handled in that way. They are just simply asking to do their job to the full extent of the state will allow it, and if they need federal help, to allow them to have a dialogue rather than Trump just making an overall decision like this was a state of an emergency. Like, it's almost like an agitation as opposed to a response to anything where federal help was needed. And so, I just think we have police departments that handle unlawful behavior, and we have a White House that think, they could just come in and handle it instead of giving people the opportunity that were elected locally to handle situations that they have handled in the past.
Well, I guess that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that police welcome the help from the feds. We saw it yesterday, I believe, of a police chief saying that he does think the National Guard presence is helpful. Yeah, it has to be done lawfully, and if they really don't want the federal officials there, the federal law enforcement, then fine. I guess I agree that they should not override the state's wishes. I just think the state is very, very poorly governed, and that its residents don't appreciate high levels of violence. These cars on fire, these poor little Waymos, these driverless calls being summoned to their death by these deranged Antifa-type people waving, I will note, a Mexican flag. I don't know why, if you're trying to say we're celebrating U.S. speech and due process and everyone's welcome and these are American values that we're defending, why would you be flying, the Mexican flag is, I think, a question some people are going to be asking about this. I know conservatives have brought that up. I think it makes the protesters look not particularly sympathetic, but I guess that's their choice.
Republicans have campaigned for so long, and I like to be consistent. That's something that I always repeat, for states to control and govern themselves in a way that they're comfortable. So just
and liberals have fought that every step of the way. They hate
but
that.
Just because President Trump doesn't like the way Karen Bass is leading, just because he doesn't like the way Gavin Newsom is leading, doesn't mean you should override what they're doing in their mind, in their best interest for the state.
I think that too, but don't you think the states' rights argument gets a little bit like, when it's something that you don't like the feds are doing, there should be states' rights.
I'm saying that
when it's
Trump
something
should
you
be
do,
consistent.
it's like,
he should be consistent. If he argues for states' rights, then he should be consistent in that and allow states to have the right to choose if they want federal help in this particular instance. It's not, saying that people are pro-crime because they're pro-local law enforcement, right? They just said they don't need a national presence at this point. You don't think 2,000 National Guards and 700 Marines is a little bit excessive for the moment? And I understand we saw cars burning on fire and we saw all these protests, but you don't think that...
I'm not there. I can't judge what's excessive or not. I don't know.
Well, I mean, based on the initial response, and I know people were not following minute by minute, but based on protest day 1, I don't think that was a proper call for protest day 2, which led to day 3 was when we saw the burning cars, is what I'm saying. And I think that agitated it more for bad actors who still should be in trouble and in jail, but it agitated it more than just having local law enforcement send the protesters away.
I'm going to jot down a mental note that you made a pro-states' rights argument. I'm going to hold on to that for the next time the federal government does something I'm telling you, that I like and or don't like, and we'll bring it up, and I'm sure we'll have a lot of consistency on that. Up next, both MAGA and the Democrats seem to be turning against Elon Musk. I've invited him to join the Libertarian Party. You can watch my radar on that. We'll discuss further in just a minute.